Naughty Knots presents How to Tie a Cleat Hitch. To be honest, there is no authoritative definition of the cleat hitch. In fact, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of possible ways to attach a line to a horn cleat. As a consequence, there are multiple different and conflicting instructions on exactly how to tie it. This video shows how to tie a simple and secure hitch that is effective for the vast majority of circumstances, as long as the diameter of the line is suitable for the size of the cleat. There are three important things to look at to determine if this hitch has been tied correctly. First is the angle between the cleat and the standing end of the line must be less than or equal to 90 degrees. Second, the hitch itself should have one part crossing over two. And a simple mnemonic for remembering this is a bridge over two rivers. Third, the working end should extend out of the knot in the opposite direction that the standing end enters. If any of these three things are not correct, then the hitch is not tied correctly. To tie the cleat hitch, you take the working end and bring it first to the far horn of the cleat, next around the near horn, then you cross, go around the far horn again, and then twist the line to form a loop and slip that over the near horn again, and tighten it up. You see that the standing end is at an angle, you have one bridge over two rivers, and the working end exits opposite the standing end. That is a properly tied cleat hitch. Once again, far horn first, near horn next, then cross and twist. Standing end is at a less than 90-degree angle. Your knot is a bridge over two rivers, and the working end exits opposite the standing end. There are a number of common errors that people make when tying the cleat hitch. The first of which is they go first to the near horn, then around the far horn, cross, and twist. You can identify this by the fact that the standing end and working end exit in the same direction off the cleat. This can be problematic for a couple of reasons. First, because you're not going as much around the cleat, it is not quite as secure. And second, if this happens to be a halyard, gravity is pulling down on the working end, and it can eventually untie itself. Another common error is to simply crisscross too much. That is, after going around both horns, is to cross and cross and cross before putting in the locking hitch. This is generally innocuous, but it makes the knot more complicated and more bulky than it needs to be. The only time I would ever do this is if the line were grossly undersized in proportion to the cleat. A third common mistake is to twist the locking hitch in the wrong direction. That is, after going around both horns and crossing, you twist like this. And you can see this does not make the bridge over two rivers shape, and both lines come out the same way. This is just an ugly hitch. And when people do this, they usually say, boy, that doesn't look right. Let me put in another hitch. And that doesn't look good, so let me put in another hitch. And they wind up with a contortion of the line. Now, I can't count the number of times I've seen a boat pull up to a fuel dock and the dock attendant does this. And I think that's just embarrassing. It's overly bulky, it's overly complicated, and it simply is too much trouble to have to untie. I saw a series of learn to sail videos that otherwise were quite good, except they said to tie a cleat hitch by simply wrapping the line around and around and around the cleat multiple times. And that's it. This simply won't hold. An otherwise excellent knot tying site says to go around both horns and then simply crisscross over and over and over and over again and leave it at that. Again, unless you are standing on the dock holding this hitch will not stay put. That same knot tying site also says that to belay and to make fast are the same thing, and that's simply incorrect. To belay a knot or an action is to pause or suspend or temporarily put it on hold. A belayed cleat hitch is one in which you have made the first 3 turns and you simply hold it in place. To make fast is to fasten something securely. You make fast a cleat hitch by putting in that final twist and hitch. Now the knot is complete and you can walk away from it.